Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. The internet you knew, it's dying, and we're all just watching it happen in real time. Right now, as you're watching this video, about half of all internet traffic is bots, not cute little helpful bots. We're talking about an army of fake accounts spreading garbage across every platform you use. Review sections compromised. Comment threads flooded with AI-generated nonsense. And the worst part, it's getting harder to tell what's real anymore. Here's the thing about the internet. Attention equals money. Always has. But AI just threw gasoline on that fire. Think about your LinkedIn feed for a second. It's become an absolute dumpster fire of meaningless corporate buzzword salad. Thrilled to announce this, excited to share that. Half of it sounds like it was written by someone who learned English from a business textbook written by robots, because it probably was. Then there's the content mill hellscape. YouTube shorts that are just engaging enough to turn your brain into mush. Amazon is drowning in soullessly rewritten books that all say the same thing in slightly different words. Spotify is getting flooded with AI-generated music that sounds okay, but feels completely empty. It's the digital equivalent of gas station sushi. Technically edible, but why would you want to? And Google's now using AI to summarize websites instead of sending you to them. So the actual humans who wrote that content, they're getting zero traffic while Google's AI just parasites off their work. Here's where it gets really wild. YouTube channels are popping up everywhere, pumping out multiple long-form videos every single week. AI thumbnails, AI voices, AI scripts, true crime channels, video essays, science content. No niche is safe. We're living in the golden age of soulless content, and it's only accelerating. Want to know what really grinds my gears? Every piece of creative human work has been used to train these AI models. Every Reddit comment you've ever written, every YouTube video you've watched, every piece of art on DeviantArt. It's all been fed into the machine. No attribution, no payment, no permission. Creative theft on a scale so massive that individual creators can't even fight back. Meanwhile, AI companies are getting filthy rich off work they never created. And actual human creators, their livelihoods are getting torched. But as frustrating as that is, there's something even worse happening. Generative AI has the potential to break the internet completely and irreversibly by making it impossible to tell what's actually true anymore. Let me tell you about a real experiment that happened. A well-respected research team that normally spends around 100 hours per project just on fact-checking decided to test AI's research capabilities. These aren't amateurs. They've been doing this for over a decade with a rigorous process. Basic research, script development, fact-checking by multiple people, confirmation with trustworthy first-hand sources and academic papers, then review by actual experts. When AI tools first appeared, they were excited. A mechanical brain that could collect information at superhuman speed? Sign them up. They tested it on a deep dive project about brown dwarfs. Those failed stars that aren't quite planets, aren't quite stars. They fired up all the premium AI, research tools, and went to work. The results looked incredible. Dozens of pages of detailed outlines, unique information nuggets, links to sources. It seemed almost too good to be true. Spoiler alert, it was. Here's what they found when they actually fact-checked everything. About 80% of the information was solid. They could trace it back to Wikipedia, legitimate papers, credible articles. Not bad, right? But that other 20%? Pure fiction. The AI had given them fascinating details about brown dwarf superstorms, the nature of their interiors, specific measurements and characteristics. Great stuff, except none of it was real. They couldn't find sources for any of it. So they brought in actual astrophysics experts. The experts immediately flagged the exact same facts, asking where this information came from, because it didn't exist. The AI had just made it up. To fulfill its goal of making the researchers happy, it had invented details to make brown dwarfs more interesting than they actually are. Like a hack journalist, fabricating quotes to make a story hit harder. They decided to dig deeper into the sources the AI did provide. One was an article from a news website, supposedly written by a human journalist. But something felt off. The structure was familiar. The wording was suspiciously similar to typical AI output. They ran it through an AI detection tool. 72% match. So they had an AI citing an AI-written article with no real sources as evidence for AI research. A perfect circle of synthetic garbage. And this makes perfect sense when you realize that by 2025, there were already over 1,200 confirmed AI news websites, pumping out massive amounts of misinformation and false narratives. The AI was mixing correct information with dubiously sourced claims and completely fabricated facts. Then it was presenting weak conclusions that sounded strong and novel, but were actually half-truths and misrepresentations. They salvaged what they could and scrapped the rest. A few weeks later, something disturbing happened. By pure chance, they spotted a YouTube video about brown dwarfs from a relatively new channel. Hundreds of thousands of views. Nice footage, solid editing. It looked professional, but the structure and rhythm seemed familiar. And then they saw it. The video contained every single fake fact the AI had made up. The non-existent superstorm speeds, the fabricated internal characteristics, all of it, presented as truth to hundreds of thousands of viewers. This is where the internet starts to die. Because now there's a legitimate source for that misinformation. When the next person uses AI to research brown dwarfs, that AI will find the transcript from this popular video. It'll see the view count and assume the information must be credible. The misinformation becomes truth. It spreads. It multiplies. Even before AI, it was brutally hard to trace the origin of facts that sound correct but aren't. Now, it might become impossible to know what's real. The real problem isn't that AI makes mistakes. It's how trustworthy it seems. It's correct just often enough to appear super intelligent, and it's incredibly confidently wrong about everything else. It lies to your face with complete conviction, often very subtly. When you catch it lying, it immediately apologizes, promises to never do it again, then does it again 5 minutes later. Here's the truth. Despite how eloquent these language models seem, there's nobody home. No greater intelligence is talking back to you. Current AI is just a very complex hammer that doesn't understand what it's doing or what nails are. But we're letting it add new shelves to the library of human knowledge. Studies analyzed the language in millions of scientific papers, published before and after large language models became widely available. They found an abrupt, sharp increase in the frequency of words that AI love to use. A significant portion of academic papers are now being written or heavily assisted by AI, usually without any acknowledgement. And in July 2025, researchers discovered that some academics had started sneaking hidden messages into their papers. In white text or font too small for human eyes to read, they were inserting prompts telling AI reviewers to rate their papers positively and not point out flaws. Think about that. The peer review process, the foundation of scientific integrity, is being gamed by people prompting AI to lie about the quality of their work. As more people use AI carelessly, the library of human knowledge is becoming less and less reliable. The truth is getting harder to find. The signal-to-noise ratio is collapsing. We're watching the internet transform into something unrecognizable, a place where you can't trust what you read, where creative work is stolen at industrial scale, where misinformation spreads faster than it can be corrected. The internet isn't going to die with a bang. It's dying by drowning in an ocean of AI-generated slop that sounds just credible enough to poison everything it touches. And the scariest part? We're still in the early stages. This is just the beginning. The question isn't whether the internet as we know it will survive. It's whether we'll be able to build something better from the ruins, or if we'll just keep drowning in the slop until we can't tell the difference anymore. What do you think? Have you noticed this shift? Drop a comment below, because I'm genuinely curious how this is affecting your corner of the internet. And if this video made you think twice about that AI-generated content you've been seeing everywhere, hit that like button and subscribe, because we need to talk about this stuff before it's too late.